He stood at the back of the auditorium in borrowed shoes that pinched his feet, gripping a crumpled graduation program like it might disappear if he let go. No one noticed the single dad janitor. No one, except the Navy captain whose eyes froze on the faded tattoo peeking from the man's sleeve. In that instant, the captain's face shattered, and a secret buried for 20 years came flooding back. Most people come to graduations to be seen. He came to disappear. The school auditorium buzzed with proud parents, clicking cameras, and bright conversations about futures already planned. Daniel Carter slipped in quietly through the side door, instinctively choosing the last row. Years of cleaning hallways at night had taught him how to move without being noticed. He adjusted the stiff collar of the only dress shirt he owned, one he bought secondhand just for today, and wiped his palms on his pants. Daniel was a janitor, a single father, and today, his son was graduating. Ethan sat 3 rows from the front, his cap balanced slightly crooked, scanning the crowd with nervous excitement. He didn't see his dad at first. Daniel almost preferred it that way. He had told Ethan he might not make it. There had been a chance of overtime. There was always a chance of something going wrong. Life had trained Daniel never to promise what he wasn't sure he could give. But he was here. God, he was here. As Daniel watched his son laugh with classmates, memories crept in. Late nights scrubbing floors while Ethan slept in the break room. Homework done under flickering lights. Birthday candles lit over supermarket cupcakes. Daniel had missed school trips, soccer games, parent meetings. But he had never missed believing in his son. Down near the stage sat a woman in her navy dress blues. Captain Margaret Hale. Her posture was flawless, medals aligned perfectly, her presence commanding quiet respect. She was here as a guest speaker, invited to inspire the graduates. Years at sea had taught her to read rooms quickly, to sense tension and pride and fear. Yet something tugged at her attention now. She glanced toward the back. Daniel shifted in his seat, rolling his sleeves slightly as the room grew warmer. For just a second, the light caught the tattoo on his forearm, an old Navy insignia, worn and faded, crossed by a date and a set of initials. Captain Hale's breath caught. Her heart pounded not like a seasoned officer's should, but like a scared young ensign's. She stared again, refusing to believe it. That mark, that placement, that specific design. It was impossible. The applause rose as names were called, but Captain Hale barely heard them. Her eyes were locked on the man at the back, the janitor no one saw, while tears burned behind her disciplined gaze. Because that tattoo belonged to someone she thought she had lost forever. The moment the captain stood up, everyone expected a speech. No one expected her to cry. When Ethan's name was called, Daniel stood with the crowd, clapping harder than anyone. His chest felt too small for the pride swelling inside it. Ethan crossed the stage, shook hands, accepted his diploma, and smiled. It was a smile Daniel had seen 1,000 times, brave, hopeful, just like his mother's had been. As the ceremony ended, families flooded the aisles. Daniel waited, not wanting to rush his son, not wanting to embarrass him. He practiced what he would say in his head. "I'm proud of you." Simple, honest, enough. Before Ethan could reach him, a voice cut through the noise. "Sir, please wait." The room seemed to tilt. Captain Hale stood just a few feet away, her composure cracking at the edges. Conversations around them faded as she gestured gently toward Daniel's arm. "That tattoo," she said softly. "Where did you get it?" Daniel stiffened. He hadn't shown that ink willingly in years. "Long time ago," he replied. "When I served." Her eyes welled. "What was your unit?" When he answered, her hand flew to her mouth. She shook her head, tears spilling freely now, shocking everyone nearby. "You saved my life," she whispered. Daniel's breath left him in a rush. The memories crashed back. Dark water, alarms screaming, a ship wounded in the night. He remembered dragging a young officer through smoke and fire, pushing her into an escape hatch before the explosion that ended his own career and changed everything. He had woken weeks later with injuries, discharged quietly, sent home with no ceremony and no support. Then came Ethan's mother's illness, the bills, the slow unraveling into survival mode. Captain Hale straightened and turned to Ethan, who stood frozen, diploma clutched tight. "Your father is a hero," she said firmly. Not just to me, to this country. The crowd fell silent. She told the story there in the open, of sacrifice without recognition, of a man who walked away from service to raise a child alone, of leadership that never wore medals. Then she did something Daniel never expected. She saluted him. The room erupted. Applause thundered louder than any graduation cheer. Ethan stared at his father like he was seeing him for the first time. His eyes filled with tears as he stepped forward and hugged Daniel tight. I didn't know, Ethan whispered. Daniel held his son, voice shaking. I didn't need you to. But Captain Hale wasn't done. She quietly explained the letters she would write, the records that would be corrected, the opportunities that would open, not out of pity, but out of justice. Daniel's past would finally be acknowledged, but more importantly, Ethan's future would be strengthened. As they walked out together, Daniel no longer stayed at the back. He walked beside his son, shoulders a little straighter, heart finally lighter. And the lesson lingered long after the doors closed. You never truly know the weight a quiet person carries. Sometimes the greatest heroes are the ones who show up silently and love without asking to be seen.